This is a podcast from the Queen City Podcast Network.
Welcome to Nerd School.
This is a podcast featuring the Sith Lord of Star.
Yeah.
Suck it, nerds!
Nerds!
Suck it, nerds! Suck it, nerds!
Visit me, daddy ass.
Welcome to Nerd School.
This is the Grand Master. Welcome to the Nerd School podcast.
All right. Thor Ragnarok, anyone?
Yes. So
It's simple.
yeah, it was. We all watched Ragnarok.
Sorry, I was doing the Led Zeppelin song.
You were doing that. Is that what you were doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
guess
in
so.
unison, Joe. You were the only one not there.
I literally just finished watching it about 10 minutes ago.
So I watched it twice,
Same.
or probably thrice. But so I want to do something a little different going through it this time. I pulled up a synopsis / review by Roger Ebert. Do you guys have any issues?
Was it
with
actually,
with
is it
Roger Ebert?
rogerebert.com or is it actually Roger Ebert?
Oh, is he
because
dead? Is he dead?
He's dead, but his website is like goes on.
It
with-
still goes.
yeah. It's sort of a home film criticism.
Oh, it was from rogerebert.com, but I didn't know he died. So maybe he didn't.
No, he died a long time ago.
Oh, so probably way before this came
So
out.
are we talking over the review, or are we doing our talk about the review of
Well,
the movie?
No, the review I have just kind of goes through the synopsis.
So you just want to read a review instead of reading Wikipedia.
Well, instead of reading the Wikipedia. Oh yeah, it's by I see now.
Jesse.
It's by Matt Zoller Seitz. You guys know who that is? He's the editor of rogerebert.com. I didn't realize Roger Ebert died.
Died in 2007.
Oh shit.
Like,
He's-
where
You
have
don't
you been,
remember
Joe?
that? And his last few interviews?
I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
Gene Siskel died.
Yeah, that was even a while before that. But Ebert, he had some severe medical
Cancer.
issues, like a throat
Yeah.
cancer thing. So his whole he
Mhm.
couldn't
Ebert?
really speak anymore. Yeah,
Yes.
Ah, man,
he
where
had
have I
like a
been?
reconstructive surgery where
Yep.
yeah,
I thought Ebert was still alive, and I thought he was Art Star's private roommate, mistress.
Now that's you. That's you.
Oh, that's me.
that is not true.
I did not know. All right, so I was gonna read. Well, then, anyway, it was a review by this guy who I guess is he the top reviewer now? The guy who edits rogerebert.com. Like, how does he get that? Like, how does he get that?
He must have been trusted.
He probably knew Roger Ebert in the day.
Well,
Mhm.
my thought was it'd be interesting to read someone's actual review to see what you guys think. What he's saying, is he speaking for general society, general critics? And because again, I feel like ever since we started talking about it a couple episodes ago, of people talking about the MCU jumping the shark or being too much or going downhill or being, I feel like now I hear it everywhere. I hear different people. I'm like, hey, who said that? You can't say that, and take a note of, what, like race and sex and whatever they are. And it seems
I'm
to be,
glad you're taking note of these things.
well,
as they-
because it really stuck with me. You saying, well, who said it? Was it a straight white guy who's tired of woke? And I think it's pretty. I'm hearing it in a lot of places and circles. So, but I think I don't know. Some of the reviews I've been seeing online lately is just like stuff about the big headlines I keep seeing is why Ant-Man Quantumania ruined the MCU and is proof that the MCU is now stupid and dumb and everybody.
Yeah, well,
that.
keep in mind, reviews online are a lot of times, unless they're
clickbait, right?
yeah, it's clickbait.
So they have to say
it's-
something decisive.
yeah.
divisive.
What's your hot take that's going to get people reading it? And sometimes that winds up, fueling people, like altering people's opinions, and then fueling this sort of vicious little cycle.
So you have
But
to
also
say
at the
something,
same,
something eye-catching, right? So if you just
Yeah.
say, "Oh, it's pretty good," nobody's gonna click on it.
Yeah,
If you
and
say,
those
"This
are-
changes
yeah.
everybody's life," this is the worst thing ever or the best thing ever, they'll click it, right? That's
yeah,
the-
stuff
so
like
that's
that.
the idea.
It's got strong opinions of engender people to follow you. Like, oh, why is this guy so thing? And then a lot of times you can read it and go, all right, this guy's full of shit. Or if you're not as well versed on it, you know, maybe he's got a point. And I mean, to be fair, any sort of thing that remains popular for a long time eventually gets a backlash.
And even if it's not a backlash, I find in the world, the other world I spend too much time on is book world, right? I read a lot. And it's so amazing to me that I could read a book where I'm like, this is fantastic. And then I go read the reviews. I'm like, who is writing? Are we reading the same books? There are always going to be contrary reviews, even if you think something is really good. And I think that's something to take into consideration, because when you take on any entertainment, where you are in life has something to do with how you feel about that thing. There are movies we're all going to be emotionally tied to. There are characters we're going to be tied to. There are storylines. And sometimes we're disappointed because we wanted to go a certain way or we needed a feeling out of it. Some of it, and some people are just contrarian and they will always be that way. So I like to take reviews with a grain of salt unless it's like solid. Unless you're telling me like, this was trash because it just hyped up the patriarchy 2 million times, or so-and-so is racist, or, you know, something that's uber problematic, that I'm like, yes. Or it's clear that someone rushed it to film, and, you know, those things are clear. But if in general something's decent and you're like, the worst trash I've ever seen. Why are women in charge now? Like that stuff I take with a grain of salt, because people type things behind keyboards that I find so interesting. And also reviewers span ages. And so what people find atrocious also varies by generation and kind of where you live in the country or world.
Yeah. When I was doing I was reviews adjacent, I tried to think of, because you come at that with your job is not to create art, it's to sort of criticize other people's art, and like, what business do you have doing that if you haven't done anything yourself? I mean, there's a lot of good to be found in some criticism of people who are genuinely trying to engage with it, but there's a lot of people that are just there to shit out their hot take and get clicks. So the way I approached it was, the point of a reviewer is not to tell you what to think about a thing. It's more to, you look for a reviewer who kind of vibes with you. Like, you find someone who writes, like, who's seen a movie you've seen, you're like, yeah, I kind of agree with it. This is kind of how I feel about it too. We have the same kind of vibe. We have the same kind of taste.
Yeah.
So then if they see something and review something that you haven't seen and you're curious about, you can kind of trust that opinion a little more than you would, hey, Mr. Shit Dick, I hated this shit.
Mr. Shit Dick.
Yeah.
No, but that's right, Andy. Like I do a lot of things. I look at reviews and there are certain people I trust. And I think, okay, I'll watch that because so-and-so said it's good. And even... even that's not going to be 100%. No, because we're all individuals and where we're coming at something. And there are sometimes, you know, there's such thing as mood watchers, right? If I'm not in the mood for something, if I'm having to watch it because it's a part of my job or someone drugged me to it, I'm also just not going to enjoy it because I'm not in that. You know, we talk on here. I watch a lot of Hallmark for a reason, right? Sometimes I'm not in the mood for anything serious. So don't make me watch something serious and ask me to tell you about it, because they're not going to give you a good feedback because I'm not in the headspace for it.
Yeah, you got to be in the right headspace to engage with the art. But yes. And you have to be in the right headspace to engage with Art Star too, because he's a lot. He is just so much to deal with.
Damn day.
The Art Star.
I'll take that, but that just means I'm inevitable. So, you know.
Listen.
Snap.
You know.
But this one, I was just watching this one, Thor Ragnarok, and I kind of want to watch Thor Love and Thunder again right after this. Like maybe just to kind of see, because Thor Love and Thunder I enjoyed it, but watching this again, I still really dug this one. It was hitting on a lot of notes. It was a great like tone mood change for the Thor movies in general, because the first two were a little stodgy, whereas this one is just like lean full on into crazy cosmic Marvel Jack Kirby style visuals and batshit insanity, and let Chris Hemsworth be as silly and funny as he can be. It incorporates the Planet Hulk storyline, which is one of the best Hulk storylines of the last 20 years. And in a way that doesn't quite, because the Planet Hulk storyline was pretty dark and dramatic, but it was a great way to bring in a lot of that stuff in it. And it had so many little beats, and it adapted, it brought in Valkyrie, who was in an interesting way. And the whole use of Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin, which is about Thor. Like, there's a Hammer of the Gods as a line in that song. It really came together. Taika Waititi is the director, and also who plays Korg, the Cronin rock man in it.
Oh, he plays Korg too?
Yeah,
the director?
he does.
I don't think I realized that's what he was playing, but now that you say
how do you say his name?
Yeah.
The director?
Taika Waititi, I believe.
Taika.
And Thor: Love and Thunder didn't quite hit as well as
married to
Ragnarok.
Rita Ora.
Wait, he's married to who?
Rita Ora.
And supposedly had a threesome with her and Tessa Thompson while shooting.
She just
Thor
came out
Ragnarok.
recently and said no, but there are lots of pictures and tabloid speculation that they were quite
they
disruptive.
look kind of cozy.
Oh, I saw the pictures.
And Tessa
I'm not
Thompson
mad at
is the best. I love Korg. Korg's my favorite thing about this movie, but Tessa Thompson's a close second. She's fabulous.
Piss off, ghosts.
Yeah, Korg is great. Is he funny in the comics like that?
No, he probably is now, but
Yeah.
he wasn't. He was part of the Planet Hulk storyline. He was technically he's a Cronin, which is like the Rockmen from Saturn or something. That was
Sons of Saturn, they were called.
Something like that.
Stone
Yeah.
Men of Saturn.
Stone Men of Saturn. That's what it was. Thank you, Art. It was introduced really early on in like really early Thor comics, and then sort of this version of him was sort of retconned to be from the 60s version, but this is a character that was from Planet Hulk. The Planet Hulk storyline is the whole thing with Sakaar, the gladiator pit thing. That's basically, in a nutshell, the Planet Hulk storyline is Earth's heroes realize Hulk is too dangerous to be on Earth, and they kind of send him off into space with they trick him and send him off into space with the intention of putting him, like saying, you've always said Hulk want to be left alone, so we're gonna send you to this really nice peaceful place. You can be alone, it's uninhabited, it's lovely, it's beautiful. But then of course he hits a wormhole or something on the way there and winds up in this gladiatorial slave pit thing, and he eventually has to lead a whole revolution by becoming the famous gladiator that kills everything. And in those gladiator fights, Korg was in there, Meek was in there. Meek has a much bigger role, and there's several other ones in their group called the War.
But then they so
Meek's dead.
he kind of, but see that like with him coming back, kind of like if you're like a super comic nerd and you fell down the whole, let me look up all of these other characters kind of thing. Like Meek, in the comics, he does, because he's a insectoid or bug or whatever, he does like these kind of whole regeneration things every so often. And it was like, I want to say like maybe the third or fourth time I ever watched this, like I kind of made that sort of connection when he was like, oh, he's dead, kind of yada yada. I kind of stepped on him, and then he comes back, and I was like, oh, that's them. Like, if you don't know, that's like, I guess, them paying homage to what he was like in the comics, kind of thing.
Right. But I think Korg was really sullen, and like he was very like he had been forced to kill his own brother, so he was very like taciturn. And Meek was really like he talked a lot, but he was very like he was like an insect. He was a little creepy looking, but he was in the team. And then it turns out when Hulk kind of sets everything right, and he actually gets married, and has like a new life for himself on Sakaar. Meek is still pissed and wants him to keep fighting, and so he sort of sabotages the whole happiness of the Hulk secretly just to get Hulk pissed again. So he goes and beats up more shit.
So Meek's got more of a character arc than just being
then,
dead bug.
Is that the protoplasm coming out of you there, or is that eggs? Those look like eggs. But just the fact that they're in there at all, I'm happy with.
I think we skipped and went straight to the gladiator pit. Joe, do you want to start at the beginning?
Yeah, we went right to Korg. Just
if someone jumped into this and had not seen Thor Ragnarok, they'd be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
we jumped into the middle of it to talk about influences.
Well,
I think start from the beginning.
I think partly because we mentioned Taika Waititi, and who's married to Rita Ora, who I've never heard of, but she is a beauty. She's a singer. You know her songs. TBJ, is that how you know her?
I think she has a song called "I'm Rita Ora and I'm here to say I love Fruity Pebbles in a major way."
I don't think that's true. Hot Right Now, it says she featured on DJ Fresh's single "Hot Right Now." All right, I'm gonna have to look her up because there's so many like actors and artists that I just am not familiar with. I'm like living under a rock. And I need to be more anyway. That's how we got off into the Korg thing, because I didn't know Taika Waititi did Korg's voice, but I love Korg. He's my favorite. But this was written by Eric Pearson, Craig Kyle, Christopher Yost. So we think one of those guys came up
Christopher
with?
Yost is actually a comic writer. So
okay.
He's done a lot of good stuff. He did a lot of Spider-Man work.
And that makes sense for some of the funny in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was everybody happy with this? So I was going to show my ignorance of what we've already talked about, but I know we've talked about Taika Waititi before. Like, what's the other Marvel movies?
Thor: Love and Thunder.
But was this his first one then? Ragnarok?
This was his first one. And this was like we said, it was a very good tone shift for Thor to really like put a lot of life into the Thor franchise, which always felt like well, we have to see this to see what's going on. But they're fine, but they're not like, movies.
Yeah, I mean, this thing was just so much fun and colorful, and just that like it was like a break from all the crazy, the sadness and everything. I feel like it was like a quick little, and you guys also, it's like a buddy movie with him and Hulk. But so I'm ditching the review thing now, because now that I realize Ebert's dead, and I'll just go back to the IMDb synopsis. We'll jump in that. But so the story opens about 2 years after the events in Avengers: Age of Ultron, where Thor, having failed in his quest to locate the Infinity Stones, and also had been dumped by Jane, although he insists it was a mutual dumping. Of course, he's played by Chris Hemsworth. He's hanging in chains above a fire pit before being brought before the monstrous fire demon Surtur. Surtur, is that how you say it?
Surtur.
Yep, Surtur, creature of Asgardian legend, the Friar Giant Guardian of the fiery realm of Muspel or Muspelheim, and is a major figure in the Norse mythology events of Ragnarok, which is basically the end of the world, like a big great battle, and leads to like a big flooding and a rebirth, not unlike the Noah's Ark, the flooding of the earth thing.
Yeah,
but as a Marvel Comics character, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, the classics, Journey into Mystery number 97 back in 1963.
Wow,
he's like a major Thor villain.
He's pretty badass and scary, and it's a funny dichotomy of Thor just like just a second as he's swinging around on that chain thing before he finishes his what is explained to him. But the effects there of him are pretty sweet, badass with his crown and everything.
I thought that was a big eyebrow. No, it's a crown.
Yeah. But Surtur believes his destiny is to bring about Ragnarok, like Andy just said, the complete destruction of Asgard, and Thor learns from him that Odin, played by Anthony Hopkins, is not on Asgard. So he uses Mjolnir, his hammer, to escape and destroy Surtur, keeping his crown/skull, which is the demon's power source. And then Thor returns to Asgard and sends Surtur's skull down to the vaults, but then finds that Heimdall, Idris Elba, has been replaced as Sentry of the Bifrost Bridge by the inept Scourge, played by Carl Urban.
Yeah, who also plays Dr. McCoy in the rebooted Star Trek. Who was
Oh,
in
he
Lord of the
does?
Rings. He's done every nerd thing imaginable.
I know he's in Lord of the Rings, and I knew him from the
Boys.
The Boys, yeah.
I love that you said every nerd thing imaginable. Good way to put it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gotten into Star Wars yet, but he probably will soon.
I'm sure he will. So do nerds
He'll make his way there next.
Do nerds love this guy?
I think so. He was like in the Star Trek reboot, the young Star Trek reboot. He was the one doing the best impression of the previous guy. He was doing DeForest Kelly to a T, and he was cranky and shitty, and he was pretty good. Okay, and of course, he had Lord of the Rings cred as well, and he was Judge Dredd.
Oh, he was
in the Judge Dredd that was after Stallone's movie.
Okay, I would say
it was a reboot in like the mid 2000s or
that's nerdy too, right?
Yeah. Comic book accurate.
So Scourge explains that Odin accused Heimdall of treachery, and Heimdall subsequently fled. His whereabouts are unknown.
Scourge, also created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in 1964. And this movie takes a lot, like basically his best stories are in this movie.
The Executioner.
Yeah, he was the Executioner. He was like a supervillain. He was in the Masters of Evil, and his. Like the one main thing that's not in here is because they haven't introduced the character of Amora the Enchantress yet, who's kind of problematic because she just like mind controls people into falling in love with her and stuff. And then I don't know how they're going to approach that if they ever do. But he was like madly in love with her in general. So
they were like hand in hand in the comics.
Not Hela. Well, Hela kind of manipulates him for a little bit later, but he was in love with the Enchantress.
That's what I'm saying. The Enchantress and
she was always using like exploiting that for her own gain. And it wasn't until like he has like the big noble sacrifice thing that she kind of realizes maybe I did kind of like this guy.
It's funny, I know Enchantress only from playing Marvel Snap. There's all these characters from Marvel Snap that I know just from playing that game, which is addicting as hell.
However you get in, I started learning about DC Comics and I started playing HeroClix and like learning more about DC characters. I mean, I knew the basics, but I hadn't read DC Comics much at all until I started going, who the hell is this guy? I've seen that guy in HeroClix, and I started reading some comics.
Well, I wanted to ask about this Heimdall thing. Is this a storyline that we know of at all from comics, with the Heimdall being cast out and then him kind of saving the people or anything, or is this just like a new story as far as we know?
I'm not sure. I mean, there's been plenty of stuff. I haven't read a hell of a lot of Thor comics in general, but I'm sure there's been stuff done with Heimdall that I'm just not aware of.
I just wondered if it's a thing like we have Idris freaking Elba. We gotta.
Oh yeah,
baby.
Okay.
I didn't know I was muted, but I
was
going into it. But like Heimdall in the comics, like there've been parts where like because of, I guess he was kind of sometimes viewed. There's certain I forgot what year it was, but it was like he was viewed as sort of like a heretic because he had like the one of his gifts is foreshadowing and unseeing. So people always thought like let's say he could see something happen before it was going to happen. So that was like, hey, he's crazy. But like he's actually had storylines where he actually used that and Odin praised him for it. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think they do it. I don't think there's too much of an homage in Ragnarok to it, but Heimdall has had things where like he was kind of viewed like as sort of like an outsider, but not necessarily kicked out or, exiled or whatever. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
But he serves a really good purpose in this, is to underscore the Asgard as a people, not a place.
Yeah.
So you gotta get it. Yeah. He's basically the point of view person for the general Asgardian populace. They're not all big shiny gods and kings and stuff.
But I like that because the beginning of this film shows us every Thor film shows us how dysfunctional the big shiny gods family is. So it's nice to see regular people, man about.
Yeah, I love the whole thing following him. Like he's like single-handedly saving all of humanity on Asgard and all the human, follow him. He's in the woods.
Idris Elba single-handedly saving us all in general by
Yeah.
existing.
Yeah, he's just so
boy.
well, and he looks badass too with this. Like
He's no Tom Hiddleston.
he's no
He's
Tom
no
Hiddleston.
Loki.
But for me, it's neat seeing him not in that, that Heimdall thing. He's just like this security guard with a big hat. No offense, G4S art star, but but he's wearing the uniform, the uniform, the helmet, and seeing him be like a man of the people. And
So what you're saying is our star needs to start wearing giant hats to work.
he needs to wear red leather and get a sword and start battling.
A giant sword.
Yeah.
To infinity and beyond.
But so that's what I
like,
wondered if it was like, well, we have Idris friggin' Elba playing this small part. Let's make it a bigger part, or if it is a big part in the comics.
I think it's
But,
serves an important part, and it's also
we-
a really interesting use of Heimdall's powers too.
We've discussed this in the past. Like there are plenty of big stars playing quote unquote small parts in the MCU who
really
eventually get their roles. Like just look at spoiler Quantumania, right?
Mhm.
Or like who knows down the line what Clay is going to do based out of coming out of Doctor Strange too. So you have like these big superstars, and then it's like, oh, well, how cool! Like Charlize Theron's in this, so Alfred Woodard's in this. Like, oh yeah, like I can't believe they're in this MCU movie. It's like I got money. I'm gonna show up here. Like, okay, sure. Let me pop up, but I'm gonna still get paid, right?
I mean,
Speaking of that, my favorite of people popping up, my favorite pop up in this movie is Matt Damon.
Yeah, we're about to get to that part because reaching Asgard, Thor sees a massive statue of Loki, Tom Hiddleston, as well as Odin lounging around enjoying a play about Loki's heroic sacrifice while fighting the dark elves. Realizing what's happened, Thor quickly forces Loki, who usurped and disguised himself as Odin prior to the end of Thor: The Dark World, to drop his charade and demands to know what happened to Odin. And it's revealed that Loki had placed Odin under a spell and dumped him in a retirement home in New York City. By the time they get there, it's being demolished before they can. Anyway, but at this part in that play is when you see
Matt Damon.
You see Matt Damon playing Loki, and that is hilarious. I was like, oh my god, shit, Matt. Just like TBJ said, I was like, Matt Damon is now in the MCU.
And it made me smile because it's not a part where you're like, oh, that's so Matt Damon. It's so random.
Yeah, it's like a little tiny part, but it could end up being anything later, Who knows?
It could be Trevor Slattery, like, right?
Oh yeah, like Ben Kingsley.
Am I fucking it up for Joe by saying Trevor Slattery? Because you haven't seen Shang-Chi, right, Joe?
I did.
You saw Iron Man 3.
But I saw Iron Man 3 when all that happened.
Yeah, but he was much bigger in Shang-Chi, I believe, than
I did see Shang-Chi
after reveal
most of it.
But go ahead.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's bigger because he was
basically
the main villain.
He was the main villain, but we didn't know him as Trevor Slattery until the end in Iron Man 3. Whereas Shang-Chi, all he is Trevor Slattery.
And that's a preview for our Shang-Chi episode that we'll do
eventually
9 years when we get to that. No, I wanted to mention this Tom Hiddleston thing. So the thing that bugged me about the beginning of this, like I was like, Loki's alive. I swear he died, but now I can't remember from what I watched. And then I was like, then they talked about, oh, you're back. Oh, of course you didn't die. And then I was like, I was trying to go back and remember the last time we saw Loki, and I unsuccessfully did. I fast forwarded through the previous 3 movies or whatever, and he wasn't in any of them. So I couldn't remember where he was last. So this is
Thor of the Dark World.
It was the Dark World.
He sacrificed himself to stop the Dark Elves or Malekith, the Dark Elf, from doing shit.
I couldn't remember that. Yeah.
He didn't really actually die because at the end of Dark World, he's revealed to be hiding, like pretending to be Odin. So
at the end of the post-credit scene, they show that or something.
Yeah, I think so.
All right,
it's a little thing where like, oh, by the way, Odin's not here right now. I mean, and it's also that's the movie where Frigga, his mother, dies.
Yeah,
and all that.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. God, that's the thing is there's so many of these goddamn movies, it's hard to remember everything.
Another reason why
hard for you to remember everything.
Yeah. There's might be a big of a backlash. There's just so much of it, and it's kind of been dominating. Let's say like the only thing that's been making money is all this. So like people are like, can I watch a movie about people's lives, regular people's lives at some point? So there's some people
just the
upset
fact
about
that they can do all this stuff now. Like they can make stuff that looks realistic with all kinds of superpowers and stuff, and they couldn't before.
Mhm.
Like I've been marveled about the fact that how little movies effects changed from like the 40s, the 50s to the 60s to the 70s. It was all just shitty animation. Like if you look at like Anchors Away and then fast forward to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, that's like.
But then you also got to
50
realize
years,
back in those times,
animation.
Back in those times, technology wasn't as good as it was. For them to do what they did back then was still like, whoa, a moving picture. Awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, moving picture is amazing. But still, the 80s like was still shitty. But I'm like from the 40s to the 80s, that's like 40 years of technology. And it's not even any better, really. Like Howard the Duck was so shitty. It was not any better than Barbarella, which was in the 60s.
Barbarella. You notice you mentioned both movies that you chose.
Both movies you chose, and both movies who are held up as examples of not very good movies.
What did you say about your taste, Joe?
I just mean about the effects. Like the effects didn't get any better from the 40s to the 80s, but now in 2020, 2017, or whatever year we're at, they're amazing.
I think creature creator Rick Baker, I think, would have some issues to say that they're like the stuff that the best movies did. Like, you think they could have done Star Wars in the 40s? They did Star Wars in 1977.
Yeah, 70s and 40s, same bullshit crap. Like Star Wars was not good. The graphics weren't good in that. It was shitty. They had to add everything in the 2000s and make it.
It did not add everything in the 2000s.
It had nothing. It was terrible and shitty, but
you guys should fight it out.
Yes, Star Wars was terrible and shitty in 19.
Jedis are pieces of shit. I have joined the Sith.
That's not surprising. You are dating a Sith.
Wait a minute. We're not dating. We're just banging.
Right.
Oh, excuse me. Pardon.
It's the difference.
All right. By the time they get to the retirement thing in New York City, it is being demolished. And before they can plan their next move, Loki is suddenly pulled through a dimensional hole in the sidewalk, and a card with an address 177A Bleecker Street is left behind. And I realize Bleecker Street, this address is on the Lower East Side, right over by where Paul's Boutique, the cover of Paul's Boutique by Beastie Boys is taken, and right by the Caveat, which inspired the Nerdy Night Out shows. So I've been on this block several times, and now there's a Chipotle there, I think.
The Chipotle Sanctorum.
I think so. Yeah,
the keeper of the taco arts.
Yes.
And
anyway,
you can't play any cards there.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, no, you just eat. You just eat food. Eat Chipotle.
Guacamole.
But Thor goes there to that address. And I think, didn't it right before he gets sucked down in the hole, didn't he say, "This isn't me"? And then he's boom, he's gone. And then, and stupid me should have realized this is the Doctor Strange, flaming circle thing he does. I think they call it a circle of piss.
and we did see part of this in a previous, like the post-credit scene to Doctor Strange had a conversation with Thor, but this is like the expanded version of it, directly from that. Well, and this, what I like about this is Doctor Strange this is the only time he's actually wearing the big ass yellow gloves that like his comic book counterpart wore all the time.
Oh, he was? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it's just big bright yellow. Like he doesn't usually wear them, but in this, it's like, you know what? Let's give the nerds.
I love seeing him, and I love Thor's reaction of, "Oh, so you got wizards now?" That's my favorite line. One of.
I prefer Master of the Mystic Arts. Okay, wizard. Like he's not going to call him Master of the Mystic Arts. He's going to call him a wizard, just like Tony Stark does later on.
We should also note that the last time we saw Thor in the MCU was with Daryl, his roommate.
Oh yeah, if you watch the shorts,
the shorts. Which anyway, but Thor goes to the address and finds Dr. Stephen Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Cumbersnatch.
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 It's hard to say it right when everybody says his name wrong all the time. Thumbelina Bembersnap.
Sherlock.
Thumberhoot.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, the mystic guardian of Earth who agrees to help him find Odin on the condition that all Asgardians leave Earth. All you have to do is have all of your people leave Earth forever. Thor agrees, and after doing some research, during which Thor is constantly teleported around Strange's sanctum, a disorienting experience, Doctor Strange deduces that Odin is in Norway. He then releases Loki from his endless fall, and when Loki tries to attack an exasperated Strange, the Doctor unceremoniously sends them both through another portal. I love that. I've been falling for 30 minutes.
Loki's a great punching bag.
Yeah, he is. Everybody loves it when he.
I love the callback later on too, which is kind of fun too.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
That's if we get.
I know where you're going, and I like it.
I mean, when Thor's getting batted around, and he's like,
Right.
"You know how it
Yes,
feels."
yes, that's how it feels.
That's how it feels. Yeah. Well, they find Odin in Norway, sitting near a scenic cliff, having shaken off Loki's spell, and he admits that he's dying, and Ragnarok is approaching. Thor insists that when he destroyed Surtur, he prevented Ragnarok. Odin mentions Hela, his true firstborn child, the goddess of death, and the one who will seize Asgard from Odin's sons. And Odin tells Thor and Loki that their previously unknown sister was completely consumed by darkness and was sealed away. The only force that continues her exile is Odin himself. And so he apologizes to Thor for failing him before dying, disappearing into
Valhalla,
shards
baby.
of whatever, wherever.
Shards
of flaming shards of whatever.
Circle of piss and flaming shards.
Yeah. Flaming shards. Yeah. As soon as he's gone, Hela emerges from her prison and engages the two in brief small talk. Seeing that she won't be reasoned with, Thor throws Mjolnir toward her. However, the goddess easily catches and effortlessly shatters the long, indestructible weapon. That was a moment that made me sad. We lost the hammer forever, and it never comes back.
It never comes back. Very sad too. It's part of this is sort of maybe not the beginning, but this is a continuing string of tragedy and loss that's building up. Like really sad, tragic events are going on under this really fun movie. But he's losing, he lost his hammer, and he talks about it. Even Korg just sums it up. Sounds like he had a very special and intimate relationship with this hammer, and losing it is like losing a friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
In case you didn't get it, Korg drove that home. But this is built on as we go into Infinity War, that Thor is just getting the shit kicked out of him emotionally and everything. And it's good summed up in Infinity War. We'll go into that, but losing the hammer is a big thing.
Well, Loki, seeing that they don't stand a chance, asks to be returned to Asgard by the Bifrost. However, Hela also enters the portal, expels Loki and then Thor from it at different points, and then reaches Asgard. So they're all going different places, we think. Arriving at the Bifrost Bridge, she quickly kills Volstagg, Ray Stevenson, and then Fendrel, Zachary Levi,
who plays Shazam.
Oh, he plays Shazam? Oh,
Shazam, yeah.
And Ray Stevenson played the Punisher once.
So, but are these the same people that played Volstagg and Fendrel in the other movies?
Not Fandrel, I think, but it's the same person played Volstagg and Hogan, I believe, who's later. But I think Zachary Levi didn't play him in the first movie.
He
but
did.
played
It
him in
was
the
the
second
dude
movie.
from Once Upon a Time, who's married to Snow White from Once Upon a Time. I forget his name, but he's also the guy from Manifest. If you guys watch Manifest,
I don't watch any of those shows.
The guy who plays
I know who you're talking about. I actually following your art. I'm following.
All right. The guy who plays Fandrel, or played Fandrel in the first movie, right?
Oh,
yeah.
And now Zachary Levi took his place. And then this is such a weird, unceremonious end for the Warriors 3.
Yeah,
who were like 3. A huge
right?
part of the first
I hated
movie.
that.
That's what I thought too. I was like, "There's just that's it. That's it for the Warriors 3." There was such a big thing.
Yeah, they were like his best buddies in the first Thor movie, and then they're barely in the Dark World. I mean, but they each have a moment in the Dark World, and then this is like, you know what? Fuck these guys.
Well, and isn't Lady Sif supposed to be with him too?
We haven't seen her. I don't think we see her until again, and I don't think until Thor: Love and Thunder she shows up again.
I thought she just
Loki.
she was
Isn't
with
she
these
in
guys.
Loki? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but isn't that like a memory of Loki of Lady Sif?
Yeah,
or
but
something?
it's a memory. But you know, they don't. I feel like I want to say she wasn't just like, oh, let's get old footage and insert her. I'm thinking.
No, they got her, but I mean, it's an appearance, but it's not like
But
her
it's still Slade
actual
Sif,
character.
So it wasn't Sif. Are you saying it wasn't Sif?
It was a version of her. It was a memory of her, but they did get the actress back to play her. But yeah, but
I gotta go back and
You're
watch.
saying that
Loki.
wasn't Jamie? I forget.
I'm saying it was. I'm just saying we haven't seen the present day version of her until Love and Thunder. I mean, she was in the first two Thor movies, and she had a couple of guest shots on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, and then kind of was ignored until very like last year, I guess.
We covered Loki on here, didn't we?
We watched that show, but
yeah, we watched
we're gonna have to watch it again once we get to Phase 4.
I gotta watch it all again.
It'll make more sense that way.
Yeah,
Don't worry. Rewatching is good.
Rewatching is good. TBJ is correct. Anyway, after she kills those two, and then she recruits a terrified Scourge to her cause, and then heads to Asgard, where she kills the entire palace guard single-handedly, as well as Hogun, played by Tenabo Asano. Do we know who that is?
The Last of the Warriors 3.
The Last of the Warriors 3.
At least he got to speak.
Yeah, for 1 second.
Yeah. No, he got a couple of tough guy lines. The other two just.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because he came up afterwards. And he's like, "We're not gonna, whatever, bow to you or
whoever you are." Did you not just listen to what I just told you who I was?
Yeah, right. Whoever. Yeah, right. I just said the whole thing. Yeah. Well, what do we think of Hela? Like, how are we feeling about her portrayal and like?
Gonna point out my second favorite line of this movie, which is also a TikTok trend, which is it's come to my attention that you don't know who I am. I'm gonna point that out because it's a really good trend on TikTok.
Are they using her audio for that trend?
Yeah, they use her audio and then they go into a song, and then most women are like, it's an empowerment movement, even though she's a villain. But in the land of TikTok, trends are based on sounds and not characters.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's Kate Blanchett. She's fantastic in everything. And
yeah,
Hell is the North goddess of death. But it's an interesting sort of take. She was introduced in 1964, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby again, Journey into Mystery. But in the comics, she's actually Loki's daughter.
Oh. Which
is a whole different take. But so it's not one of Odin's children, Odin's grandchild, I guess. But it's sort of like the underworld. She doesn't I don't think she controls the people of Valhalla, which is like Asgardian heaven.
Yeah.
Where like if you die in glorious battle, that's where you wind up. But so she's more like the underworld of like death. And she's always trying to expand her realm, I think, to have more dominion over more people.
My only complaint about her portrayal on this is the head.
You didn't like the whole.
Oh, that's absolutely right out of the comics.
That where she rubs her head and it pops up like.
Oh no, that's just awesome.
I would just like it either is there or it's not, like that stupid thing where she just wipes her head and it pops out of nowhere and then she wipes it and it comes back. Like
it's magical.
That was stupid as hell, I thought.
I thought it was a great way to transfer between like, all right, I'm just chilling mode. I'm trying to be friendly. It's like, all right, time to fuck people up.
About it,
magic, boom, I'm death.
Think about it.
What if we think about what?
Am I here?
Yeah, now I hear you.
Oh, yeah. So if you think about it, whenever she produced weapons, it's almost like she produces them out of thin air kind of thing. So like her hair, maybe it's just like an illusion. And when she does the thing with her hands, it just like it appears.
I didn't have a problem with it appearing and going away. It was just the
way introduction.
The way she did it and wiped her head. Like it looked stupid. Like it looked like
she was voguing for you, Joe.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. That was my only complaint.
I thought it was great.
I think
It
she's
was
badass, and
it was
that's
very
stupid.
smooth.
And you're wrong, Andy. You're wrong about this.
Actually, you're a dumb piece of shit.
You know what? Who's the
Calm
guy?
down, calm down.
Brad Razzle fan is a great artist. Who's the guy you hate? Ted
Rob Liefeld.
No,
Rob
don't.
Liefeld. Rob
You're
Liefeld.
so
I wanted
off.
to see how many names he would go
Ted
through. until he-
Mandelbaum is a great artist.
Ted Mandelbaum, sure.
You know what? Actually, I've been waiting to surprise you with this, but we actually have Rob Liefeld here as a guest. He's been in the waiting room. I'm going to now present him on the
Okay.
Nerd School podcast, our special guest.
Hi, everybody.
coming-
I'm very good at drawing feet.
He's coming to interview you, Andy.
Let him come.
You hate Rob Liefeld.
He just seems like also like one, not good at the thing he's famous for, and two, he seems like kind of a douchebag.
You ever met him?
No,
Would you like to?
no,
Okay.
If he's at Heroes Con, we should introduce you, Andy.
no. I'd rather not.
What
I
if
have
you-
nothing nice to say about him, so I'm not going to say anything to him.
What if he walks into our Nerd School panel at Heroes Con and it's like, I have a question. My name's Rob Liefeld. Why do you hate me so much? And what can I do to earn your love, Professor Andy? And then he starts like slowly.
You want me to
Thank you,
draw a
Sherlock.
picture of you?
Yeah.
Want to do a portrait of you?
Stop claiming that you did not rip off Deathstroke when you created Deadpool. For one, two, draw better. Three, don't
Draw
throw
better.
a crybaby hissy fit when one of your characters comes out as gay in the comics.
Oh, so he's a homophobe?
Yeah, I think so. Or
Oh,
maybe
well,
not. I'm sure he'd obfuscate, but they made a Shatterstar, one of his dumbest characters, who has a big, he's like a big, like padded, stupid
Hey, I
helmet
love
and a
the
big
Toy Biz
cheerleader
character.
top knot on his head and a sword that's two swords, so it's
I-
extra
I-
extreme.
I love that about Shatterstar. Like I literally got that toy because his sword had two whatchamajiggies.
It's a sword with two blades on it
yeah,
instead of
two
one.
blades. I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
But you're
Well,
not a collector. You don't collect toys.
This is when I was young. I was a wee lad of maybe 18, 19. And I thought this shit is fucking cool. I'ma get it.
Yeah, I did not think it was cool.
Shatterstar is in Deadpool 2?
Barely, yeah. That's about the
barely.
treatment he deserves. What he got in Deadpool 2, and
I gotta see those Deadpool movies.
but like in the comics, they wrote a storyline where he came out as gay and in love with his friend Richter, and then Rob Liefeld was all pissed about that and like, I can't wait to write for Marvel again and change that back or something like that.
Well, screw homophobia if that's what. it
Yeah.
is, so
I wasn't. I mean, that really, I didn't like his work before, but that made me just go, ugh.
yeah,
I
that
was about
didn't.
to
Yeah,
say, you were
you're-
already anti
Yeah.
him beforehand,
I like that.
but
Yeah.
that just helped keep
That
the
just-
anti going, rightfully so.
yeah, that just helps us not yell at you about being mean to Rob Liefeld, because if he's a jerk, then.
Yeah.
But could this be slander? Or he can defend himself if he wants to, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll deny what I've said or
Like you
spin
said,
it or whatever.
obfuscate is what you
Yeah.
said. I think is the verb you said.
He gets
That's what I said.
he gets pretty angry. He gets pretty angry. Like I've actually seen
Who, Rob
What-
Liefeld?
yeah, I've actually seen Whatnot auctions with him on it, where he's sitting there, he's drawing, he's doing this thing or whatever, and someone comes in and they say something to him, and he literally like goes off on these people, like goes off while he's drawing, just like really goes off. Like even
Yeah.
with Twitter, his Twitter rants sometimes are like almost like if he was near you, he'd punch you in the face.
Yeah, it seems like very irritable.
I think you could
And,
take him, Andy. He looks like a. Anyway,
I don't care to. I know he would. I mean, if he ever heard this stuff, he'd just shit all over me, and that's fine because I'm shitting all over him.
you like people shitting all over you.
I mean, I
Yeah,
can
I'm kind
can
of into
battle
that.
with them verbally, Andy. I'm pretty good at it. So if he
Yeah,
comes for you, I got
TBJ
you.
is. Yeah, she
I
is pretty
appreciate that, but I mean, I've just from what I've said about him, I probably have brought whatever he does onto myself for whatever.
It's
cranky he
okay.
is.
I'll just throw it back out. You can have it come to you. But I love a vault. I love a spar, a little verbal spar.
Yeah,
Just
I'm sure you could
want
outwit him
sometimes.
pretty easily.
Yeah, TV. That would be fun to watch.
But it's
TBJ,
yeah, I
Wouldn't
mean,
it be?
TBJ giving somebody a tongue lashing.
Well,
yeah,
oh,
I generally don't like
Saturday,
to shit on folks. but,
Saturday. She almost put the fear of death in me Saturday.
Uh-oh.
Like
Just Saturday only.
I
during the
said,
nerdy night
I
out
said,
extravaganza.
I said no to something, and the way she raised her voice, like I felt like all of the whole, like I felt like a little bit of the a little bit of the Sithness seeped out of me, right? And
Okay.
I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I'll take a sandwich.
Just to
I'll
know for
take
no
one.
reason. I offered him something that was beneficial to himself.
A sandwich.
He chose to decline.
And
And
she was like, take it.
don't understand why I was sharing. And then, so how dare you say no to my sharing, and you will accept what I'm giving you.
Right.
And that's just what it turned out to be.
And it felt like in that moment the clouds opened up, and like had I declined any further, I would instantaneously disintegrate into nothingness. I mean, I would have been
That's
reborn
valid. That would happen.
because I'm a Sith, but in that moment, but then also, now that I think about it, in that moment, this is one of the main reasons I'm trying to recruit her as my apprentice. She has an
Not gonna happen.
She only just give into it.
Well, it was fun watching the tech guy Ben's face as he got to take the rest of the sandwiches out. He had a smile from ear to ear. It was like, look at these sandwiches. I got all these sandwiches. It's always great to see that.
Sandwiches are great.
Sandwiches are great.
All right, where are we at?
Thor is deposited by the portal on a planet called Sakaar, which seems to consist entirely of gigantic, colorful garbage mounds fed by giant portals in the skies. He's attacked by several scavengers. Now weaponless, he is quickly overpowered before his attackers are scared off by the hard-drinking bounty hunter Valkyrie, played by Tessa Thompson. So this is my first time ever see. I've heard Tessa Thompson's name, I feel like, a bunch, but I don't think I had looked her up because I was like, she is just striking. Like, she just commands the scene. And I was like, and then I was like, oh, Tessa Thompson, that's a famous name. And then I see she's been in a million things, and I just happen to haven't seen any of these things, and I've always wanted to. Creed, I guess, is big that she's in. I've always wanted to see Creed. I don't know why I never saw. There's like how many Creeds?
They're like on Creed 3 at this
There's
point.
like 3 Creeds. I haven't seen any of them.
And they're using the hell out of Marvel actors in that series.
A part of it's because I can't see a movie without going back and watching all. So I got to go watch Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, Rocky 5. You know,
so like it's gonna get to a point where you're like, oh, this is out. I gotta go back and watch the other 10 movies first.
And that's it. So I can't get through them all. So I can't ever get to Creed because I
sort of like how you can, like you're watching wrestling now, but you just can't start watching it.
I know.
You got to watch it all the way back.
I want to watch the current wrestling guys that are happening, but I can't because I'm still on
25 years ago.
No Way Out 1998, and I have to watch. You know, now Thunder's added. Now I gotta watch every Thunder for goddamn forever. I don't know why I do this to myself. Anyway, but she is.
You're not
wonderful.
watching every episode of like Velocity and all like the weird Sunday night.
Now I'm just fast forwarding through stuff at this point. But
okay.
So she was in Westworld, I guess is a big thing she was in too.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Drunk History, she's been on.
Yeah.
She was in Between Two Ferns, the movie, which I don't know if I knew.
She has a solid.
That's right.
Yeah, Brave Girl Rising. That's a short. She's been in a bunch of Janelle Monáe videos, which then I fell down a rabbit hole watching a bunch of Janelle Monáe videos, which Janelle Monáe is fucking awesome. And so that was kind of fun. And then she was in a Jay-Z video. She was on BoJack Horseman. She did a lot of voices for things. Like, she's been around, which I can't figure out how, because she looks very young. How has she done 9,000 things already? So, and then I fell in this rabbit hole on interviews with her on talk shows. She's from Hollywood originally, and I was really bummed to find out that she wasn't British. She does that British voice so well that I guess I wasn't really
I want you to
bummed.
guess how old she is, because you said she looks so young. Take a guess.
Oh, if I had to, yeah. I mean, now I know she's done all these movies. So, I mean, in this movie, I think she's 26, something like that.
I'll say Tessa and I are only 3 years apart in age.
Are you kidding?
I look old because I've had these damn children who give me all the grades.
She's born
But
in
we're only 3 years apart.
1983. Yeah. Oh, daughter of singer-songwriter Mark Anthony Thompson. Who's that? And actor-musician Bobby Ramos. I don't know who any of these people are.
I don't either.
Is Mark Anthony, he's famous, right? Or is that not the Mark Anthony that they say?
Not the same one. Dude. Not the same one.
Ex-husband?
It's a different one. And who's
Okay.
Bobby Ramos? Do you know who that is? Anyway, she's unbelievably beautiful and a cool actress and a badass. Like, she's very good.
And this version of Valkyrie was basically made up for this movie, but Valkyrie as a character in Marvel was 1970, created by Roy Thomas and John Buscema, and was, big blonde hair, very Nordic. Brunhilde was her name. Like, well, Brunhilde, how I love you. Like Elmer Fudd used to sing about, like when Bugs Bunny was the opera.
Don't quit your day job, Andy.
Okay.
Well, I was confused. Is Valkyrie a title, or because they go, you're a Valkyrie?
Yeah.
Said, or they just called her Valkyrie. Like, did
in the Norse mythology, they're basically the choosers of the slain. Like, they guide the souls of the dead to Valhalla.
Oh,
Viking heaven. But Marvel version has sort of made them into these. They do that, but they're also
So
like
an
warrior
angel.
They're
women.
like Marvel's versions of the ladies from Themyscira. Almost like Marvel's versions of Amazons.
The Amazons, yeah, kind of like they're warrior women who are like
I have a thing real quick.
real quick, baby, real quick.
It's already not.
Dora
real quick.
Milaje.
Can I say this?
Dora Milaje or Valkyries?
Oh,
Dora Milaje.
yeah,
What'd you say?
the Dora Milaje
Oh,
or Dora Milaje, depending on who's saying the words. The Wakandan warrior women. Boy, we
Oh.
haven't seen Black Panther yet for you, so you have to remember.
they're very, yeah. Okay, sorry. That was thinking of.
I was thinking about that.
I thought you said Nicki Minaj.
When when they showed the flashback of them fighting Hela, I was like, I'm gonna hold on to this for when we record.
But yeah, Valkyrie is a title, but the original Valkyrie from the comics is sort of, you can kind of see her in when Loki makes her relive the flashback of the Valkyrie's slaughter at the hands of Hela. Jumping ahead a little bit, the one who sort of pushes her aside and saves her life very much looks like the comic book version of Valkyrie. So you could say she's technically like the actual comics version of Valkyrie is technically in it.
Yeah.
Although they have wiggle room, they can say, "Oh, that wasn't her. That was just someone who looked like her." And if they want to introduce Brunhilde at some point,
maybe in Thor 5,
yeah, or
which people
Tales of
don't want them to
Asgard.
make.
So with this Valkyrie, she's very flirty. There's this unspoken thing between her and Thor, I think. So there's like this weird flirty thing. He gets real like flustered around her because she's so awesome. So this makes me wonder. You guys already know what happens, obviously, because you've seen the next one. But I'm wondering, does that cause tension with Jane Foster? If she's in the next ones, and are they?
There's a lot of time between this one and Love and Thunder, which just came out this year, and we don't see Jane Foster again until the one that came out this year or last year. So it's there's a lot.
Bridge under the water under the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything really ever gets spoken about that because they don't really spend a whole lot of time together after this. But
well, Tessa Thompson's awesome.
Yeah, she's pretty great in this.
Yeah, she's fabulous. I don't know if I like who I like better, her or Korg.
I'm definitely. I think she's gorgeous, but like for me, like Korg, and I guess, and just in the other stuff he's been in afterwards, like he's someone I would gravitate towards more, just because like this personality that Korg has in the MCU to me is fun, but it's also like he's this brutish guy, but then he's a lover, right?
So he comes back in more, like he's in more movies.
Yeah,
afterwards?
he's in more.
Oh, good.
He's
great.
He's like a lover. You look at him like, oh, he's mean, but he's a lover, and him and his partner, they shared things together. Like, not unlike you and I, Joe.
Yeah, that's right.
Sharing protoplasm and eggs and stuff.
Right.
Lord help you.
Yeah. I want him to hang out with Thing too at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure they've had a fight.
They've had a fight somewhere.
In the comics, he's drawn to look a lot more like he's even like orangish. He looks like the Thing, except with like really blocky head.
Well, in his rock slide,
no, he's
related to him.
mutant.
He's not.
No, he's an X-Man kind of guy.
Okay. Well, anyway, I love Korg. I love Valkyrie. I love Tessa Thompson. Whatever she wants to do is okay with me as far as acting.
All right with me.
Like if she wants to play me in the Nerd School, the movie. No, I just love how she's a badass drinking too. I think I like drinking.
Like you haven't.
She's
to, like,
drinking away her
this.
PTSD, but yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's not. I guess that's a sad way to put it. Anyway, she then captures Thor, placing a small shocking device on his neck to pacify him, and takes him to the Grand Master, Jeff Goldblum, who is delighted with his newest acquisition, decides to put him up against his champion fighter. And this is our Jeff Goldblum introduction, who's great.
Yeah.
And there's a great Marvel one-shot after this of him and Dennis. He becomes Dennis's new roommate. Thor moves out. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but
I think I did once. But yeah, the Grandmaster first appeared in 1969, The Avengers, number 69, coincidentally. Roy Thomas, John Buscema again. He's one of the elders of the universe in the comics.
Okay.
And he's the brother to Benicio del Toro's character, the Collector, in the comic book world, at least.
Okay,
and,
I was going to say he reminds me of the Collector.
Yeah, like they're kind of related. The elders of the universe are these weird pseudo cosmic beings who all have weird, very fanatical, specific interests. And the Grandmaster is all about games of chance, contests, and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he's mentioned the Contest of Champions, which is basically the first Marvel like special limited series crossover kind of thing that happened in 1982.
Oh.
Which was originally meant, I was just reading about this, that it was going to be a big sort of tie-in celebration of the 1980 Olympics that were taking place in Moscow, but then America boycotted those, so they had to scrap it and then rework it and bring it out a couple of years later, trying to not connect it to the Olympics at all. But it was so it was just basically a bunch of Marvel superheroes engaging in competitions and stuff at the behest of the Grandmaster, who was trying to bring the Collector back to life.
Side note, on Ultimate Spider-Man, they actually had I don't know, 2 or 3 parter where they did Contest of Champions with Grandmaster and Collector, but that was like nice. I want to say the 2016 Ultimate Spider-Man series, or maybe it was
the cartoon. You mean?
Yeah, the cartoon.
Yeah. I'm sure they did. And Grandmaster is a blue dude in the comics. He's all blue. But like all these elders of the universe, there's like the champion who's a big fighter. He actually wears like a wrestling belt. There's the gardener, the runner, the astronomer. They're all like, they have very specific fanatical interests.
Okay, yeah. So it was 2015. And it's a 4-parter.
There you go.
But it's Ultimate Spider-Man, the 2012 version, but it's season 3 of it. Season 3, I don't know what episode.
And he was also the one of the central figures causing the Justice League Avengers crossover limited series in 2003, which I think was the last big collaboration between DC and Marvel. Things got kind of acrimonious for a while after that, but they were in good space then. There was actually a 4-issue limited series where the Justice League hangs out with the Avengers.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool series. I think you can find it on Comics Odyssey, Joe. Check it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start reading that. There's just not enough time in the
I keep trying to get back into Amazing Spider. Like I've been reading 2 issues of Amazing Spider-Man since Friday. And I'm not actually reading. I'm saying I've been reading, but I keep getting sidetracked. Oh my God, I haven't read it yet.
The ADD struggle is real.
And now it's like my Gmail keeps sending me, like Amazon keeps saying what to read next after you read Amazing Spider-Man issue #1. Like literally, I've got like 2 emails about that. I'm like, okay, I get it. Read, motherfucker. I got it.
Yeah, I got it. But yeah, so Jeff Goldblum, and he's hilarious.
Jeff
It's like the
Goldblum is hilarious in everything he touches, though.
Yeah.
Like his personality is perfect.
Yeah,
for this.
He's great.
He's the hilarious version of an
I
evil
agree.
overlord. And in this version of Grandmaster, it's kind of combined with the villain of Planet Hulk, who is just known as the Red King, who was the guy who was the overlord over the gladiator pits that the Hulk had to fight in. This is kind of a combination of these 2 characters. The Red King was kind of like if Joffrey was a weird red alien, Joffrey from Game of Thrones, and was in power and in charge and just made people fight for his own amusement and shit.
Well, Thor learns that Loki is also present and has been there for weeks, time moving far quicker on the Grandmaster's planet, during which he has found favor with the Grandmaster. Not wishing to jeopardize his position, Loki pretends not to care about his brother, and Thor is thrown in the dungeons where he befriends rock creature Korg, who explains that all who have gone up against the champion have been killed. We get to meet Korg, who's awesome.
Hello, new Doug.
Yeah, new Doug. Oh, Doug used to say that all the time. Oh,
Hey, hello, new Doug.
That was great. So funny. And I love that the guy's name is just Doug. Like everyone else has these crazy super.
I love like, hi there. This is the pile of rocks waving at you. I'm actually a being.
Yeah.
I'm actually a person. I'm actually
unless you're like I'm. What do you say? The whole rock paper scissors thing.
Yeah.
Just a little rock paper scissors joke for you.
How an alien from Saturn or wherever knows what rock paper scissors is. Maybe it's universal. I don't know.
Well, meanwhile, Hela enters Asgard's throne room and pulls down the fresco above the throne depicting Odin and the royal family and their benevolent rule of their kingdom in the universe, revealing the darker history of Asgard, where Odin and Hela conquered the 9 realms before she was banished by her father. Hela then heads down to Asgard's vault and uses Asgard's eternal flame to restore her entire army and revive her monstrous wolf, Fenris. She also dismisses the Infinity Gauntlet that is kept there as a fake. He just points that out. That's fake. She then attempts to open a portal and conquer all the realms, but the Bifrost sword is sword. I said sword. Sword. The Bifrost sword has been taken by Heimdall, who has been hiding in the hills and is now sheltering the escaping civilians from Asgard.
That's right.
And that's what we talked about. He's wearing that red leather.
He's not wearing the big hat anymore.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a big hat, and he's like a badass, and he's got cool dreads, and he's kind of like badass.
He like Corlys Velaryon from House of Dragons.
Yes, the Valerian steel. He's got his Valerian steel. Anyway, but I think this is a good place to stop because the next thing is the big arena battle, and I think that's like a big
thing.
Transition. So we
That's
can
a big thing.
Where we just get it all done before DBJ has to go to Italy for 100 years.
Well,
I don't think we can get it all done.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a way to go, and TBJ's got a pack and everything.
I'm only gone a week. I'll be back in the next week.
You never know. You might get over there and find you a nice Italian
guy. Hey, Tony.
Thank you, Art, for recognizing that.
Mamma Mia 3 is being shot, and I'm the star.
Yes. No, I gotta come
in that
home.
case, you can fly us all over. You know.
Is this a vacation or is this for work?
No, it's a vacation.
Oh, okay. Good for you. Are you going with
Full
Tempest?
No, by myself.
Just by yourself?
Gonna visit my friend. Yeah. I have a friend that lives over there. Carolyn.
Oh,
You guys
okay.
met Carolyn.
Right. She did move to Italy for what, 2-3 years?
She'll
Was
be
it
there
3
3
years?
years.
That's
Mhm.
cool. Are you gonna bring
So
back
we're
some
gonna go visit my
meatballs?
friend. No. I will bring back fun stories.
Yes, that's exciting. That'll be fun. We want to see pictures, and then so the second half of Thor Ragnarok will be post Italy filmed, recorded. and Andy's an idiot.
Don't say that about your brother.
Oh no, he's just a piece of shit.
You POS.
Well, yeah, that's what Rob Liefeld will think of me, I'm sure.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, Andy, this is a perfect time to mention that you were going to shake up Nerd School a little bit, and we have a replacement for you. Rob Liefeld is going to be the new professor.
Talk to him
I
about that one
stand
Captain
Andy.
America
No,
drawing.
Rob. I'm only here for Andy. If Andy leaves too.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, then Rob Liefeld's
you
been
know what?
fired.
But you know what? The rock and roll expressive nerddom would carry on.
You
That's
would.
That's what you and Joe are. Rock and
I don't
Roll
think I like
Express
Rob
plus
Liefeld
Rob
either.
Liefeld.
I gotta look at his art. Like it's his art that you hate, right?
Yeah,
I think
it's
that,
like
but then too also like his arrogance.
look at if you can find it. Hawk and Dove #1 from the New 52.
Oh man.
Back in like 2011 or something, whenever that launched.
Well,
Seriously,
Here's the thing. And I'm speaking purely as an artist, right?
Mhm.
So usually as an artist, if you do like you have a style, so you rarely deviate from your style. You may add to it, but you rarely deviate from it. So like, it's true all of his characters look the same, but then there's also him just. I don't want to. This is kind of me being devil's advocate, kind of, so to speak. But it's like, I don't want to shit on him like that. But it's like, you keep creating the same character over and over and over and over again. A lot of times the character is going to look alike, but he leans into that. So then it's almost like how you have some artists who say like, yeah, I'm an abstract painter, right? And all they do is splash a couple of different coats of paint. Hey, $2 million. Next one, splash some more. And it's like, you're like, oh shit. So now you're paying for the name. Rob Liefeld has the name. So he doesn't really have to try hard to like create something that looks different, because it's like the people who like Rob Liefeld is gonna like the shit no matter what. So it's like, and like at some point you get to be like, okay, yeah, I see this look like Hawk and Dove. This look like Shatterstar. I think I showed you one when I was on one of his whatnots. When like I was looking at the character and Brigade. I cannot unsee Brigade and Deadpool. Like wait, is that Brigade or that Deadpool or that Shatterstar? So like, Andy fucked it up for me, right? It's like I couldn't see anything past. It's the same character. So like the same character cosplaying, which is not a bad thing. But
I'm not even talking about that. Just look at every drawing of Hawk in that issue. He has the exact same face, the exact same expression the entire time. It's either with his teeth like closed or with his teeth open. He's just
that's his thing though. Maybe that was what he was going for in that series.
Andy, you'll love this. I just found something called Progressive Boink. I guess it's a blog, and they have an article called "The 40 Worst Rob Liefeld Drawings," and it starts off. It's from 2012.
They made a second. I've read that. They made a second one because they had to, because there's that many bad Rob Liefeld drawings.
Did you search for this? Like
I just googled Rob Liefeld sucks.
No, I mean like Andy. Like, all right, so how do you know about this? And like, are you like?
Oh,
I've
read that before.
That Liefeld. Well, it was my goof.
Well, it starts off, people suck, and then there's Rob Liefeld. You know how people draw comics? Rob doesn't do that. That's how it begins.
There's a
whole Reddit of why Rob Liefeld sucks. Reddit. There's a subreddit
created by Andy.
No, I had nothing to do with it. But I did remember, like, he did Hawk and Dove for the New 52, and I read the first issue, was like, this hurts my eyes to look at it. And then
now I just Googled it, and I can't tell the difference between this and the other but I don't have a discerning eye for comics, I guess.
But like then he eventually had to, like, he left DC Comics in a huge pissy public huff, just like, man, everything sucks. These guys all suck because I was treated bad. Which, I mean, to be fair, the New 52 was kind of a fucking mess, but and DC Comics was kind of a mess at the time, so like he could have gotten shittily treated, but he walked off all of his books. He was all pissed about everything, and one of his quotes in that was, "My greatest triumph at DC was getting an inept editor fired." That's the kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm reading a bunch of stuff about how he's a jerk on this Reddit. It's not just that he's a bad artist; it's that he's a jerk and he's done a bunch of shitty things to people.
Right. I'm.
Well, we got really into the Rob Liefeld hate. So let's put that aside, unless you have another thing. Unless TBJ has something else to say.
Nope, just later, nerds. She's out.
All right, off to Italy.
She's ready to go to Italy.
And we'll get a little bit more into Thor Ragnarok.
Well, I gotta go actually pack.
Yeah.
And just reach out to us on Instagram if you'd like to see some nudes of Artstar. Some tasteful.
No, that's behind the Patreon wall. People have to pay for that.
Yeah, you see Artstar completely nude.
Licking ice cream.
Licking ice cream, yeah. The ice cream is just covering his junk enough.
Oh, that's disgusting. That is just fucking disgusting.
Artstar, a lot of people don't know this. Artstar eats ice cream on the toilet.
Yeah.
Oh God, I just remembered. I'm looking at an old article I wrote that some of the articles are still up, and it's about his pissy departure from DC. And
you wrote these articles?
I wrote some articles, not all those, but there's this article I wrote, and I forgot he posted a video of himself inking comics while he was driving, and it was like that. How dumb you have to be drawing comics
from Crave Online. Rob Liefeld's hilarious departure from DC by Andy Hunsaker, August 24th, 2012.
Yep, that's the one
And he wrote, Rob Liefeld is not a good comic book artist.
And I made it clear that it was a bias of mine, like right at the front.
Does anybody comment on there and be like, "Fuck you, Andy"?
I don't know.
Do they do comments on there?
If so, like this site has gone through like 3 redesigns since I worked there, so I'm lucky that any of my articles are still up, but they're there. But anyway,
and this is Craved Online.
It was called Crave Online at the time.
I mean, where can I partake of the disparaging?
Just article. Google my name and Rob Liefeld's name.
What if I Google your name with a lemon party?
Lemonparty.org. Andy and lemonparty.org.
Yeah.
Close this out. Close it out.
Yeah. we're closing this out. This is the end of this episode. Excelsior.
Excelsior.
I put the link in the chat. Artstar.
Excelsior. I got it.
Peace out.
Excelsior.
Nope.
They say I can't rap about the president no more, but evidently they don't see we in the streets still poor. Still more incarceration of my kinsmen by the prisons, and people thinking this election to end racism. Proud over pessimism, glad to see Obama, but don't expect me not to speak out when I still see problems, Mr. Officer. Now they POTUS look like me, you gon' think again when seeing brothers rolling down the street. Every Martin Luther King on his American dream. Still a Rodney being beaten, screaming fuck the police. Me, I'm running through the pasture, trying to get away from master, but the dogs is on my ass, I gotta move a little faster. Can't pass for Caucasian, but I got a couple papers from the plantation saying I graduated. Congratulations, cool beans, but to most school mean trying to dodge STDs, living off government cheese. Trust the government, please. Not even if it was me sitting in the Oval Office as commander-in-chief, trying to give us free, but there's a nigga in my ear saying, you got it, Superman, you ought to keep it here. Get this distinctly clear, I'm all about jetting. Raps Kunta Kinte without the half-stepping. A new chapter, packed with new lessons. After that, the final exam. Any questions?
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.